Hey everybody. Today I want to go through the process of building the equation of a line when passing through 2 points. Okay, I'm not going to use y equals mx plus b on this one. There's an approach that I would prefer to go through and deal with. I want to show that to you. Here we go. So I just have the information up at the top of the screen there. We're going to pass through point A to point B. And what's really important for us to know is for us to be able to build the equation of the line, we need the slope of the line, that is, what direction does it run, and one point that it goes through. If we know a point that the line passes through and the direction it goes, then there's only one possible line that can satisfy that. So let's start to build our way through. If I was to go through and calculate my slope, then I can use my good old slope coordinate formula to do that. That is rise over run. What I could also do, though, is just draw a sketch and get a sense of -2, 1. There's where A is, all the way over to 5, -4. Maybe that's a bad sketch, but you get the idea. And then consider what is the slope of that line using rise over run. Either way is good. Some people like the formula because then it doesn't require the sketch. So let's work our way through. If you were to go through and say, then it is one y coordinate, subtract the other y coordinate, and that x coordinate, subtract the other x coordinate. There is me doing a substitution. If you look back up at my points at the top, I subtracted in that order. As long as I make sure I always subtract in the same order, then I'm good. So if I go through and I do a little calculation, then my -4 subtract 1, there is my rise. 5 plus my 2, there is my run. You can see it on my diagram. If I was to try to figure out how far down do I go to go from A to B, how far across do I go, you can see my slope. So we've got slope, -5/7. We know the direction of the line. We then have to use one of the points. Now, I would tend to go with point A just because the numbers are smaller, but you could choose either point. So I'm going to shrink this down a little bit and just move it on over to the right side. Rather than me using y equals mx plus b, I'm going to use that same green slope formula that I just used to find the slope. I'd rather use the same thing over and over again. And so what I can do is I can sub in my slope and my point. So if I use point A with the smaller numbers, I know that my slope is going to give me my 1y value, subtract what I have, and my x value, subtract what I have. And what you can see in blue there is I just built a relationship between slope and 2 points. It just doesn't take the form of a line that we're used to. Now, why do I like using my slope coordinate formula? If you are a y equals mx plus b person, this is going to create a fraction issue for you, which may slow you down. We should be comfortable to work with fractions, but it may slow you down. If I use my slope coordinate formula now, all I need to do is multiply out my denominators. And so what I get in that case then is my -5 times my x, my -5 times my 2. There's me multiplying out my x plus 2. And that's equal to my 7 times my y and my 7 times my -1. So you take a look at those fractions. I just cross-multiplied. I got rid of both of my divide bys. Well, now I can put that in the form that we're used to. So what I could do is I could take that blue equation and I could get the y all by itself and I could put it in y equals mx plus b. So that could take me in this direction where I would get a -5x minus a 3 is going to equal 7y. And then I can divide out my 7. So there's my -5/7x, which is nice. It gives me a little confirmation about my slope. And then divide out to find my y-intercept. And there is a completely acceptable form of a line. There's my slope-intercept form. Now, what I could also do, though, is from that line, I could have decided to put that in standard form. So standard form is going to tell me that I need to go through and I need to get my x and my y on the same side of my equal sign. So I'm going to get rid of that little green arrow and circle because I'm motivated to do something different. Now, I get my x and my y on the same side of the equal sign, but there's also a little bit extra. I also have to be aware that I need to make sure that my x has a positive coefficient. So in that instance, then, I could go through and think of all my variables being on the right side of the equal sign. So to get rid of a minus 5x, I need to add 5x. My 7y was already over there. And while I'm doing that, then, I'm going to get my constant onto the other side. And that's going to give me my 3. So either the blue form or the gold form is a great form for us to finish off on. Slope-intercept or standard, and you are good. Okay, I hope that helps you to be able to go through and build the equation of a line. Best of luck.